Hi, welcome to the Andrew Buckle video tutorial on Photoshop. I'm using Photoshop 221, 219, 220, all the same, and the halftone pattern filter. You can create all kinds of garish, colourful designs using this filter. It's not just one effect, you can use it in numerous ways. So let's just undo this now. Let's just get rid of all those layers because I don't want them. Let's go back right to the start. So where is it? And also what can you do with the colours? Well, the colours are set here. So you've got green and black. They're the colours that are going to be used with a halftone. So filter gallery, and you've got that effect. And you've got a variety of different settings here. And there it is. Got a whole long list, halftone pattern. So select that. You can, of course, add additional ones. You can add multiple copies and create some very interesting variations. That I'm not going to go with that, but you can do that. You can also select different, so maybe go from mosaic tiles. You don't have to keep the same thing. You just run through that, photocopy, and so on. So you can create some very garish effects just within the filter. But there's no blending modes, no sort of things. So I think most of the time, I very rarely use this combination. So I'm just going to remove that. So I've just got the halftone patterns. Now you can, of course, use other effects as well, outside as well. But you can modify the size, so you can get very thin lines. You can also change the contrast. So you can see you get a nice blurry effect there. The preview's good. You can zoom in out preview. But I haven't updated this for quite a while. I remember this Aldous Gallery Effects. I think that's what they're called. So Aldous Gallery Effects, years and years ago, had this filter, and I'm certain that these were the same effects then. So I don't think these been really altered particularly. You probably couldn't. I don't know if you could do multiple settings there. Can't remember. However, you certainly can do that, and I'm just going to push it up so you can see it. That's the key thing. I just wanted size to be quite large, but you don't have to. Also, you've got dot and you've got circle. So you can see you've got variety. The circle, unfortunately, is just circled, centered on the document, right center. You can't move it around, which is really odd in 2021. However, that's what you get. And likewise, the lines are only horizontal. So that's quite, can't make it at different angles, vertical, etc. So apply it, and you can see the effect there. Well, what you can do, of course, with all these filters, you can always apply it again. So filter gallery, apply again, and you can apply it a couple of times, and you can create some interesting variations when you do that. So you can just go like that, and you can see straight away that you're sort of getting a slightly different effect. Now, I don't want to do that because I wanted to just apply it once. Apply it once. What you can also do, you've always got the edit and fade. Fade's really useful because the reason is you can go over here and you can say darken, colour burn, lighten, and you can run through these different options, and you've also got opacity as well. So you can create a variety of different designs simply by doing this. And of course then what you can do, you can always apply the effect to that. And you can see, create some, and then of course what you can do, you can always do edit, fade, filter, again like that, and maybe go with darken, overlay, and then of course you can change the colour. Of course you don't have to keep the same colour, so you can go for that, maybe blue and black. Again, it could be white, green, or whatever, and then filter gallery, and you can see. Of course, the picture obviously gets worse and worse. It's degrading, but I mean, you get some very interesting combinations of effect by just simply applying it a number of times, just by using that, and using also, of course, the fade filter over here, which you may or may not want to do. So I'm just going to go back to the original image. So what you can also do is you can duplicate this. So a layer, and then go down to duplicate layer, and you can do it a couple of times. Let's just do it a couple of times. Could do it 20 times, doesn't matter. But I'm just going to go with a couple. And I'm going to apply it to this one. So I'm going to go with blue and black. So filter gallery, just quickly do this. And I'm going to go with lines. You could use any of the others. You could change the other settings as well, which I will do, but I'm not going to change it from line. You could combine them if you want as well. So click OK. Now I'm going to deselect that one. Now I'm just going to apply it again. So filter gallery, and you can see now I've got blue there. If I wanted to change that, I could go with a different colour scheme. So maybe yellow, green, whatever. And then go to filter gallery, and again the halftone, and you can vary size just slightly, contrast, and then click OK. And again deselect that one. Go to that one and do Change colour again, helps. Just go up to, maybe not blue, but let's go for purple. Now I have no idea what this is going to look like, the combination, but I'm just going to go in with this sort of thing. So filter gallery, and again you can vary those, vary that again, click OK. So you've got those now. And what you can do, you can put them all back on again, and you can select so they're all active, all visible. You can now select that, because I've been doing it a few times where I've suddenly not remembered to do that, and then I'm suddenly thinking, well, that's strange, why can't I access the blending modes? However, what you can do, you can go for lighten, select that one, maybe go for difference or linear color dodge or whatever, screen, linear burn, and so on. So you can run through those. And of course, what you can also do, you can always go to the bottom one. You don't have to keep it exactly the same as before. You could go to filter and maybe go for a blur, Gaussian blur, just blur it a bit. So you can create a slightly variation there. And you can see a whole range of different designs. So once you're happy with that, what you can do, you can go to layer and flatten image. And if you think, you know what, I don't want it that way around, what you can do, you can always go to image adjustments, and you can vary the colours, of course. Hue and saturation. You can make a very garish colour like that. Also, you can always go to image adjustments, and where is it? Invert. So you can see you can invert it to create that sort of design. You get obviously near enough back to the image again. There's also, of course, what you can do. You've always got edit and fill, and you can always got history. So if you go to the history panel, window and history, there's the history panel. Love the history panel. You got the history state, and it's obviously back to the original image. Well, what you can do then, you can always go to edit and fill. I always find this is a useful one I don't always think about when I'm doing these things, but you can do history. So clicks OK, and it just brings it back. Well, you think, well, that's a waste of time. Well, it is in a way. But what you can do, you can edit and fade fill, luckily. Otherwise, it wouldn't be much use. So what you can do darken. You can run through and you can see you've got your original image back. Lighten, overlay, and you can vary this setting. And so on. So you can create some other combinations of interesting colours just by bringing back the fade and fill like that. Now let's just go all the way back to the original image. And I'm just going to delete these ones. Don't want them anymore. So there's one layer. What you can also do with the thing, if you want to have lines both ways, there is a way, of course, you can do that simply by going here to layer and duplicate layer. So you've got two layers again. What you can then do, of course, is you can rotate it. Don't have to keep. So what you can do, you can edit and transform and rotate. I'm just going to rotate it 90 degrees clockwise. Now apply the effect. So filter and filter gallery. Let's just go with that. You could change the colour next time. I'm not going to change the colour, but I'm just going to go. What I can do now is, of course, I can go to edit and transform, and again, I want to go counterclockwise. So I put it back now to that line. So it's straight up. Now, if I go to this one, what I can do, and let's just deselect that one, I can do, of course, filter, and I can change colour. Let's change the colour. Instead of going for that, I can go for blue and black. Then I can go to filter and filter gallery, and you see this time, of course, it's horizontal. And again, you can modify settings. You can go there, push the size up, contrast, click OK. Now you've got up and that way. So you can go to that one, make certain it's on, otherwise you can't access. It's always a weird feature. I just never understood why you can't do that. But anyway, that's the way it works. And you can see then you've got the option with the line, you can actually see through it. You can go through different colour ones there. And you can see you can create a whole range of different, very garish, I agree, colour schemes. So layer, flatten image. And of course, again, you can always go to image menu, adjustments, and maybe invert if you prefer it the other way around. So you can create some nice like that. Well, what you can also do, let's just go back all the way there. Back to the straight layer. You've got selections. So you've got here elliptical marquee tool. So say you want, let's just select somewhere. Doesn't matter where, just select somewhere. And you, of course, could use there's lots of other selection options here, load of other selections. But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to apply the circle one to this one. I'm going to go with blue and black. So filter and filter gallery. And now this time, I don't want those lines, I want dots. Nope, circle. So circle, you can see the circles are just focused in on that, not in the centre anymore. So click OK. Now what you can do, of course, you can see you've got the selection there, you can move it. So you want to move it there, and you can always change that, of course, to say yellow and black. And you can always run it quickly without changing anything. So filter gallery, and you can see you can move it there, and so on and so on. So you can do exactly the same sort of, go and change that to orange. And again, filter gallery. And you can see the effect. You can create a whole variety of different colours across the image. And you can overlap them if you want as well, that'd be reasonable. Now you can also, of course, use, let's go up here again, to rectangular marquee tool. So you've got rectangular marquee tool, select that. Now, obviously I'm not going to use the circles, could use the circles of course, but what you can also do is of course you can go to filter gallery, and I'm going to be using the orange, but I'm going to go with lines. You can see the lines obviously going across, unfortunately again, not vertically. So what you can do, of course, you can move that, and you can turn around and say, you know what, I don't want that, I want it to be blue. And again, filter gallery, move that. And of course you could vary the size of the selection. You don't have to have it all equal, you can sort of transform it. And of course you could maybe have quadrants, so you don't have to have the whole thing selected, you could have quadrants of it, all in different colours. Or maybe different patchworks across the image with selections. And again, you can change this, maybe go for white, that one, and then filter gallery, and so on and so on. And again, well, let's just finish off on that one. Let's just go green and apply filter gallery there. So you can see the general effect there, just applied all the way across with different colours, which you may or may not want. I just thought I'd show you that you can work with these things with selections. You can also work with colour channels. So window and channels. So you've got channels there. It's a channels panel. And now just select the red. So you've got the red there. Now I'm just going to go with, maybe change colour there. So let's go with green. Now of course in this, slightly different of course, but let's just go to filter and filter gallery. Still use filter gallery. And you can see it's going to be, whatever you choose over there, it's going to be black and white. And you can vary things. So again, if you want, you can change contrast, change the number of lines, click OK. That's applied to that one. You can select on the green channel. Just select there, the green, and then go to filter. And again, you can vary this. So let's just reduce that down. Let's just change that. And then go to filter gallery. Change the size there. And then go to the blue. And then go to, let's just, someone's going to turn around and say, it doesn't make a difference. So filter gallery. Actually, to be honest, I don't think it makes any difference. I'm changing the colour. It just ignores it because it doesn't look like any difference, to be honest, does it? That looks white, even though it says over there. Okay. But anyway, but now you can go back to the RGB and you can see what happens with the different settings of all the way through. It's very odd. I think it's just, maybe it's fine, but I would have thought it would. The reason is I actually haven't run through channels. I just suddenly thought about channels. So maybe you could obviously do a bit of experimentation whether it actually makes a difference, because that just didn't seem to make much difference. When you go to red, let's just go to white and white. You can actually go for maybe a very, very low setting. Let's just see, filter gallery. Yeah, exactly the same, still doing exactly the same. Doesn't make any difference. The only thing you can really change is, clearly, is the dot or something there. And now apply it. And you can see the effect there of the dots there. Very strange. Anyway, weird sometimes when you do Photoshop. Sometimes you think that's, of course, what you can also do. Now I've got there. Let's flatten the image again. Discard. Yep, don't want that. What you can do, of course, you can apply it to other things. You've got alpha channels. You've also got other effects you can add into it as well. Can combine that. And you can, of course, use shapes as well with this. So what you can do, quickly create a shape. Let's just quickly go custom shape tool. And I'm just going to go with a shape. Just narrow this one. And, of course, you can apply just that one. I'm just going to go change the colour a bit. Let's just go for something like blue. And then what you can do, you can go to Filter, and again, Filter Gallery, and it's got to convert it to Smart Object. So Smart Object, and then you can see the result as well, because of course I've got the colour scheme over there. I'll just apply it there. You can still see it does work. Let's just change that. So that's going to be a bit green and black, because I've changed that. So always got to remember to change those. Then you go to Filter, Filter Gallery, convert to Smart Object, and you can see then you get this nice dotted design there, or circle. So you can create, but unfortunately again you can't move this around, and you've got line, probably works better there. So you've got your line design there. And of course one thing with this, of course, is you can always rotate it around, and you've got it going that way as well, and so on and so on. There's a whole variety of different things you can just, unfortunately, doesn't actually change. Of course, the way around that, of course, is to go to a layer, and you can rasterize Smart Object. So rasterize the Smart Object, and then you can rotate the design around. And of course, then it is actually at an angle. Not a brilliant solution, but that's a possible solution. Let's just remove that. What you can also do, you can use it with type as well. So let's just go with type. Let's just create some type. Maybe something bigger than, right, just go with type like that and resize. Now, you of course can fill type with something else, and that's another thing to do. I'm just going to show gradients. But however, just going to go with this. You've got this green and black. You can go over here to Filter and Filter Gallery. And what it does, again, it comes up with the good old Convert to Smart Object. And you can see then you end up with nice stripy type. Or, of course, if you want, circle. And just does it. Click OK. And you can see you've got a nice circular type there as well. Now, I've been using an image. Now, it's been using the underlying image. You can always see that design is still coming all the way through. Well, what you can do, you can always go to over here, Gradient Tool. Got the Gradient Tool there. I'm using normal. Now I'm going to use one of the legacy gradients. So just one of them, that one. Any of them. Apply the gradient quickly over the image. You can vary obviously the location. Maybe I'm using linear, but you can use radial, say. So you've got radial, and you've got that very strong there. What you can do, filter, and again, this is, I've got green and black there in the thing. I can go to Filter, Filter Gallery, and you can see what happens is it changes the impact of the lines, which I think is quite nice. So it's quite useful if you want to sort of size and contrast. So you can create some nice thing, and it again depends on the gradient. So what you can do, of course, you can go to this over here, the gradient tool, go there and difference, and you can apply a couple of different like that. Then, of course, what you can do, again, go to Filter and Filter Gallery, and you can see then you get another different result, different breakdown there. And you can change contrast if you want as well. Click OK, and you can see sort of designs. You can create a variety of different designs, and of course, always with these things is you can create. Just get rid of that. Get rid of that. Layers. What I want layers. So I can always go and create another layer. So layer and new layer. Then again, go to the gradients, and I can create a different gradient. You can see obviously the gradient there. With that, what I can do, and I can change colour here, of course. I don't have to go with that colour. Go with purple. Then once I've done that, I can go to the Filter and Filter Gallery. And again, I've got the Filter Gallery there, and I can change the settings. Don't have to, but I can go with different settings. Click OK. And now, of course, what I've got is I've got these two layers, and both have got circles. One's green, obviously, one's thing. Again, up here to the blending, and you can go through blending. So you can run through quickly like difference, great, or exclusion, lighten, or screen, and you can see a variety of different colourful designs using that, not just a sort of basic standard one. You can end up with a sort of nice colour mix like that. And of course you can still, still a layer there. You can always go to Filter, and you can go to Blur, Gaussian Blur, and you can blur the thing as well. So you can create a whole variety of different colour changes there as well if you want to do that. Now you can of course use this feature with, got this design here, go to maybe 3D, use all those sort of things, whole heaps of different things. So maybe you want to go to a layer and flatten image, so you've got a nice design there. Well, you can use this in 3D, new mesh from layer, and maybe go down to depth map and plane. I'm not going to do that because it always seems to take forever. Whenever I decide, you know what, I'm going to show the 3D feature, guarantee it will take a bit of time. But you can use it to create some really great and weird and wonderful landscapes. And of course, you've got this design. You don't have to keep it like this. You can always go and use various filters like this one, distort and wave. So you can create a wavy design out of that, or maybe go to filter and distort and ripple. So you can create a nice ripple design across that. Whole range of different designs that can be created that way. Well, I hope you found this tutorial of interest. Always adding new tutorials all the time. Obviously, about Photoshop, Illustrator, Affinity Photo, Affinity Designer, and many others. Also, please check out the Graphicxtras website. Always adding new tutorials. I've just been updating tutorial on Halftone. That's the reason why I did this video. Just been updating that. I thought I must go and do a new video about the Halftone filter. So, and I will be adding more things because quite often after I finish this, I will think of something else and I think, you know, I should have mentioned that. And I know I probably, I'll just put it in my comment in the various tutorials on my website. Also, please subscribe to the Graphicxtras channel. Always adding enough daily various videos. Also, a dislike or like, always appreciated. And also any comments. If there's something I've done wrong or some other suggestions with this, please let me know in the comments. Always great. Also, thank you much.